great joy was also in sharing moments of loving people. This life is about loving people. So what? You become the president of the company. You get there and you make the money. But you stepped on everybody to get there. You slept around to get there. You broke the covenant between a man and his wife to get there. You may have reached a destination, but your journey process was not according to purpose. It's important, the journey. And I want to encourage you today, don't overlook the journey. Some of you are going through some valley experiences right now, but it's a part of the path that leads you to the mountaintop. What makes a mountain, it has to have lower ground on each side. Do you think you're going to get to the mountain peak without first going through the valley? The scripture encourages us that yea, though we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we are to fear no evil, for thou art with me. That's the journey. He's communicating with you. He's encouraging you. He's disciplining you. That's the journey. Following the path to get up to the mountain. People say they want to go to heaven or whatnot. Yet, a lot of them, if you will put them there, it would be so foreign because they have not been saturated and permeated with the journey of learning Christ. The journey of knowing what love is and peace is and joy is and faith and temperance and long suffering, kindness, gentleness and goodness. They'll be at a place that's foreign to them. But because of the journey, we learn how to love. We learn how to pull the layers off and let others love us. We learn how to sacrifice for others. We learn how to endure trials. So when we get to the destination, it won't be foreign because he's prepared us for it. It's about being made better as we flow to the destination. So in Jeremiah 29:11, it says in the AMPC, the Amplified Bible Classic, for I know, when somebody say I know, and we'll say, the prophet is saying this as the Most High speaking, the Most High's thoughts. So this is the Most High, the I am, the one we call Lord. For I know, meaning he knows. Oh my, this elevates it. This is not what we know as humans. This is what he knows as the sovereign one, needing no counsel from man, the one who determines purpose, the one who decided he wanted a lion, and the lion wouldn't swim in the sea, but the lion would dominate in the jungle. This one, the one that decided I want a ball of light that will rise and that will set. It could have been one streaking light like a comet, but that's not what he designed to keep this earth lit. That one, I know. That one that made a man. And after he breathed life into the man, and the man became a living personality and soul, he later goes and takes from the man, not from a separate piece of clay or dirt or soil, but takes from the man and makes a woman. That's the one I'm talking about. The sovereign one that sits on a throne. I think the Bible declares that his throne is from everlasting to everlasting. That means he and his throne, they're one. He sits on that throne, nobody else. He will not quit. He will not retire, and you cannot push him out. There's no body, Congress, or the Senate that could get together and vote out the one here that says, I know. He says, for I know the thoughts that I think toward you. When you look at this in the original Hebrew, the word thought there deals with an invention. I know the thought, the creative thing. It's something in my mind. It's what I see. It's the fabricated thing. It's like a woman weaving together a sweater for her little baby, taking the yellow and the white, the pink, whatever color she wants to put in it for her little girl. And she weaves it together, starting out as individual pieces of yarn. But when she finishes with it, she's weaved together a design thing, a final outcome. My baby won't be cold because mommy has the destination of creating a sweater. But when she first started out, it was just having that needle and having those individual pieces of yarn. But then the process, the flow of the journey, the setting up at night while others are sleeping, and bringing it in and out and in and out and creating the design to bring down the arms and to come up around the collar. This was all in her mind as a blueprint, but then she began to put it in action. He said, for I know the thoughts, the Most High has a blueprint. Your life is not it's not haphazardly coming together. Some believe this, but this is not true. He said, I know the thoughts I think of you. That means that where you are right now, there may only be one woven together sleeve for your arm. He may not be through yet bringing it all together, but he's through in his mind of what he thinks about you. But you need to flow through the process of time. My degree is in business management. But we had to learn about factories and how accounting worked in factories and how operations work in factory. And you take raw material. And I like to use this particular one when I'm talking about this. Let's say you want to make a window for a house. What would you need? You need some metal or wood, whichever one you're going to use. You get some rubber for the seams and whatnot, and you get glass. So when you get these individual things, they will help make the final product, but you cannot overlook the journey. It must go on the conveyor belt so that skilled and qualified people can take the certain parts and bring them together to match a blueprint before it can be loaded on a truck and sent to Lowe's or wherever it has to go, a hardware store or whatnot. It has to go through a process. And many times people get frustrated with the process. They don't understand what's going on. They want to quit because they don't understand where they are in the process. But you got to trust him in the process. I'm not just going to say that to you. I'm going to give you someone who encouraged us to do this over in Job 23, verse number 9. Job 23, verse number 9. And I plan to read verse 9, 10, and 11. Job. This is out of the Amplified Bible Classic. Give me one moment. Job 23. I'm going to read it first out of the King James Version. 23 and verse number 9. It says, on the left hand, where he does work, but I cannot behold him. He hideth himself on the right hand, that I cannot see him. Amplified Bible Classic says, on the left hand and to the north, where he works, I seek him. That means it's times when you're going through the process, you're going to be looking to ask him what's going on. I seek him, but I cannot behold him. He didn't reveal himself to Job. But Job knew he was working. He goes on to say he turns himself to the right hand, to the south, but I cannot see him. What is Job saying? Just because I don't know what he's doing doesn't mean that he isn't working in my journey. I'm on the conveyor belt, but he's the skilled master builder that's inserting the parts and bending and doing whatever he needs to do to make me what he wants me to be. But Job doesn't leave us with despair here. That though I can't see what he's doing, I should give up. He goes on to verse 10 and says, in the King James, but he knoweth. Here we go again. Jeremiah says that he says, for I know the thought. Job says here in verse number 10, but he knoweth the way that I take. I can't see him working. I may not understand what he's doing. It's like going into the unknown with a known God. The I am that I am, the Most High. But he knoweth the way that I take. when he has tried me. Oh my. That which is on the conveyor belt must be tried. Is it going to submit to meet the qualifications? If it doesn't submit to meet the qualifications, you remove it from that belt and put it off and discard it. Only what is tried and proven can be loaded in the truck as a final product, having reached the expected end. Only that which has endured, only that which has submitted. He says, I know the way. He knows the way that I take. And when he's tried me, let's finish reading this, Job 23, verse number 10. But he knoweth the way that I take, and when he has tried me, I shall come forth as gold. Let's see how this is recorded here, or put forth in the Amplified Bible Classic Edition. What it's saying here, and I love the Amplified Bible Classic Edition, because if you're a person that like to go and look at what the original Greek was or Hebrew, they do a lot of that for you, and they will insert that in like synonymous terms to go with the word that the King James may use, and I love that. But he says here, but he knows the way. The way. Hold up. There's a difference between the way and the destination. I'm talking about today the expected end and its journey, the final outcome and its path to it. Here, when he says he knoweth the way, he's not talking about the destination or the final product. He's talking about the process, the flow, the pathway that one is to take to arrive at the destination. If you disregard the path, you're really not going to be ready for the destination. I go back to what I said about so many people are looking to prophets to give them a word. What am I to do? What am I to be? And to get this word, but what good is you getting that word? Are you getting that word if you're not prepared to stay on the conveyor belt and allow him to move upon you in a way to make you what he wants you to be, for him to shape you and mold you and make you? What good is hearing what you're going to be if you're not going to submit yourself to what it's going to take for him to make you what he wants you to be? I feel the presence of the Ruach HaKadosh. The Ruach HaKadosh. I feel it, and I thank him. I cannot do this without him. So he says, for he knows the way that I take. And in brackets there in the Amplified Bible Classic, it says, he has concern for it. He has concern for the way that's going to bring you to the destination that he's designed. He has concern for it. He's not just concerned about you getting there. He's concerned about how you get there. He has concern for it, appreciates it, pays attention to it. He's a good father. A good father looks narrowly at his children. He looks narrowly at them to see what they need for their growth, their continued growth and advancement. That involves correction, yes. It does. I think it's over in Hebrews chapter number 13 or Hebrews chapter number 12. He says that if you cannot endure chastisement, then he uses the term, and I'm not using it as a curse word, I'm using the King James vocabulary for that, a bastard. That's an illegitimate child. For you to say that you are my child, but you won't stay on the conveyor belt, you won't submit to my discipline, you won't submit to my word, you won't do what I call you to do. You may say you're my child, but you're not. You are a bastard, or you are an illegitimate seed, because you're not acting like me as the father, or him as the father. Some people leave because I said a prayer, and I started on this journey. Raw material, the glass, the wood, the rubber, to make the window. That just because I started the journey, I'm automatically going to be loaded in the truck to take me to a destination. No, that's not true. If you don't submit to the shaping and the molding, if you don't submit to the correction along the journey, then you will not find yourself boxed up and labeled to go off to minister to anybody. I know we have a doctrine out here today, once saved, always saved. And when I said that prayer, that's what's going to get me in the kingdom. I'm going to get the destination. Listen to me. He sent the Holy Spirit to live inside of you to help make you like Christ, to prepare you for the bridegroom. But if you're like the five foolish and you don't take the all, you're not interested in being involved with every sequence that's in the journey, what happened to them?